So I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to give you guys something a little bit behind the scenes, but I'm going to start going into a series today about how I became a guide. I think this is a really cool story. I think a lot of people out there have been asking me how they can become guides themselves. But before I get into all of the details of that, because that really is such an elaborate process, obviously it's as simple or as complicated as you want to make it, but I've chosen to take a lot of crazy steps to make it work really well. So I'm going to tell a story today of how I became a fishing guide here in Miami. So honestly, I haven't been a fishing guide for very long. I started in my junior year of college in the month of February. So actually, it's only been a little more than 2 years since I became like a legitimate guide. And the story behind it's pretty interesting. So at the time, I had like no social media following, maybe like 1,000 Instagram followers. And I was doing a lot of flats fishing on my saltwater boat. I had a flats boat at the time. And there's a guy on Instagram, his name was Monster Mike. And Mike at the time was pretty big on Instagram now too, and social media in general. He had no Instagram followers either, maybe like a 2,000-3,000 as well. So we reached out to each other. I don't even remember who hit each other up first. But long story short, we made an agreement to make a trip trade. I was going to bring him out of my flats boat and show him Key Biscayne, and he was going to put me on some Miami peacocks. So I'd caught peacocks before. It wasn't like he was taking me out for my first peas, but we both saw we were doing pretty well in what we were doing, so we made the trade. So Mike took me out, we became friends, and we started fishing together for peacocks more and more. And we put together a few really good days in a row, started posting some big fish, and here's where the story gets interesting. I don't remember who hit us up. I don't remember which one of us were hit up, but a kid named Brandon, we're still friendly with Brandon to this day. He hit us up and asked if either one of us guided. And me and Mike looked at each other and we were like, why not? So me and Mike told him we guided. We said we'd take one person for $90, two people for $120, and that would be for a 4-hour trip. So once you add in the cost of bait, the cost of driving, me and Mike were making like $40 each. But obviously we didn't really care at the time. We just thought it was crazy cool to be starting to guide. So we took this kid out, and I'll never forget it. We had this kid meet at Mike's house at the time, and I'm sitting there outside with my car. Mike's in the car with me, and this kid pulls up and hops in the car. And me and Mike, we had like not a whole lot of idea of what to do beforehand, except for the fact that we made a plan that we were gonna have the kids pay up front because we didn't want them to run away mid-trip, having caught some peacocks and then screw us over. So we obviously didn't really understand the whole trust aspect of it at the time. But Brandon hops in the car with his friend, and Mike says a quote we still joke about this day, and he's like, all right guys, pay before you slay. And they did. They paid us up front, and we took them out. They had a good time, and that's where it all started, man. So it was really cool. Me and Mike, we guided together for maybe about 6 months, 8 months, and it went really well. We got our names pretty established in the industry, kind of made a whole splash into the scene. You know, there were some haters at the time, but obviously it's going to happen with anyone that just decides to randomly become a guide without any legitimate experience. Over time, that experience obviously developed into the real thing, and then all the social media channels followed with it. So obviously you see Mike now with an 100,000 viewer channel, and then mine with 25,000, and then YouTube channels, Facebook, whatever. So we were able to get away with that because Florida has no licensing to be a land-based freshwater fishing guide. Or, sorry, not even freshwater, just land-based guide, period, which is kind of unique. So a lot of states have strict licensing. Florida does not. So we were able to just say one day, okay, we're guides. But here's some tips that I would recommend if you're starting to try your own guide business. The first one is having a legitimate website. At first, we obviously didn't have the social media channels or the constant clients on Fish to prove that we would be good guides. So that came back to having a solid website. I created one through a website called Wix.com. Super easy to make a website. You don't need to worry about coding, anything. I pay about $100 a year to maintain my website. But I put together a bunch of pics of big fish we had, put in rates, put in an about us and our some bios and a homepage with a video. And that got us most of our clientele early on. We were pushing that on our Instagram pages, and it was pretty successful. The second thing, I'm personally a big believer right now that everyone is shifting from picture to video. So if you can, if possible, try and take some friends out and guide them and make videos of the whole day and post it on your Instagram, post it on your YouTube, do anything with it and blast it out to the public, because people are going to see the videos, see your friends having a great time, and then they will want to book too. And then the most important part of guiding, and this is the part that gets lost, people get caught up in the idea that if you're going to become a full-time fishing guide, that you are going to be able to spend more time fishing on the water. It is the farthest thing from the truth, and you hear everyone say it. And at first I wasn't a believer because I wasn't guiding constantly. So I was guiding 2 days, fishing 4, resting 1, and life was good. Now I guide 6 days, fish 0, rest 1. So I've caught 1 5-pounder in the last maybe 4 months. My clients have caught probably, who knows, 60. So long story short, where I'm going with that, you need to enjoy watching your clients catch fish. If you don't enjoy that, and as they're catching fish, you're wishing that you were the person catching those, guiding is not for you. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but guiding has to be all about the people you're guiding and nothing else. So that's my most important tip. You have to be a really good people person. You have to kind of go above and beyond, in my opinion, in terms of, being on time, sending out emails, thanking people for their time on the water. I help people find hotels when they ask me where they would want to stay. I do that. I try and go as above and beyond as I can to make sure each client feels like a VIP to me or to them. So there's a lot of unique stuff, but that is the story of how I first became a guide. It was with Monster Mike, and I'm gonna get into this whole series now, start talking about all the different aspects of how to become a good guide in the industry. But first, I figured it'd be cool to get that one off the water, or off the ground. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. That was actually kind of cool to talk about. I think I'm gonna start doing stories every now and then, and pretty easy to do. Obviously I'm in the middle of 14 straight days of guiding in a row right now, so it's really tough to crank out videos and edit them. So I may do one of these once in a while, and I think you guys will find them interesting too. I got a lot of really crazy stories from my fishing lifetime collection. I don't know what the right word was there. Alright guys, thank you for watching. That was honestly really cool to tell. I'm definitely gonna start doing more of these, and I'll see you next time.